So recently, aka Patters, I bought this Lobo slipcase. We can see here. Let me slip out the books from the slipcase. Right here. It retailed for $30. It's about like 50 plus on eBay. And it comes with the Words of Wisdom from Lobo, by Lobo, Lobo's Greatest Hits, and Lobo, the last Zazarian, which is, I believe, the Return miniseries. So Lobo's a character. He's had one of the greatest glow-ups in comic book history, which is why I love the Greatest Hits, because, you know, it features a lot of his early appearances. And if you guys need to see, he was this weird-looking orange and purple dude with funky hair. And Keith Griffin and Simon Bisley come out of nowhere, and they give us this version. And, you know, the comic book industry, the comic book world, geeks like me, the fandom, never look back. I had two revelations when I purchased this. And I got it for $15. I got it for a good price. I bought it because I was curious of what these other editions were. And I wasn't quite sure. So, let me talk to you about why this has changed two of my major comic book perceptions. Let's go. See, perception number one. Lobo outlasted everything he was making fun of. Now, Lobo is a character that broke the fourth wall. He did the Deadpool thing way before Deadpool. It's funny how when Wolverine Deadpool came out, everyone was like, oh, She-Hulk needs to be in it, because She-Hulk was the first to break the fourth wall. I mean, like, technically on the publishing level, she is, but the Lobo broke it, mocked, and directly spoke to the fanboys. And Lobo, in effect, made fun of Spawn and all of the contemporary. I mean, we can line up Spawn and Lobo right here, and they literally look like that they're in the same universe. They're maybe the same book, actually. But Lobo, right? I think it gets a little funny. McFarlane Toys is doing a Lobo Secret Wars action figure or something. And I, like, honest to God, AKA Patters, I see that in my social media feed once or twice a day. And it's been a little bit of time now. If Lobo gets a new Build-A-Figure, people care. If Lobo gets a premium, you know, those ridiculous $2,500, $5,000 statues, the premium level statues. If Jason Momoa is cast as Lobo and put in the Supergirl movie, well, people care. They really do. People love the character. People care for the character. Lobo, all his animation appearances too, by the way, aka Patters, top notch. They rolled him into DC's new media expertly, where McFarlane cannot even get a movie financed. Something he's been teasing for 20-something years now. I get it. Spawn had to run. Spawn had to run so long ago. In my view, the character and the franchise has faded into the darkness in which he was born. So, Revelation 1. Lobo outlasted the Image comic book era. How amazing is that? So, let's get into number 2. It flipped, and I'll explain it. This was not for comic book readers. These were for comic book gift givers. The way that the market is now, the readership of the American comic book industry on this day reads only these. See, it went from reading month to month, following the stories, the characters, the creators, the storylines, We had arcs that were years long. Now everyone buys these. It's not comic book stores anymore. It's comic book sections. Sections meaning in your local bookstore, in your local used bookstore, even your local comic shop. You want to see what hardbacks that they have, what collected editions, compendiums, deluxe, absolutes. It goes on and on. We have the same group of people that read these monthlies, and what's left of these monthly readers, they're the ones purchasing and repurchasing the same effing storylines with every single one of these silly editions that come out. It was goofy. If you read the Lobo relaunch miniseries, you didn't need this. You didn't want this. There was nothing you were missing out on. But now, there's not enough of a market to feed the floppies. So what's left of the market, well, the publishers know. DC and Marvel know. IDW, Skybound, they know. They know they can repackage the same crap. And you guys are still going to keep purchasing it. You're going to get FOMO because of social media. And then we're not incentivizing new books and new issues. We're just not. So where do we go from here? Well, we have to have a return. We really have to have a return to reading comics. Isn't that crazy? Lobo's greatest hits. So, like, maybe you would buy this back in the day if you didn't want to track down the Legion of Superhero comics or the Omega Men comics that this, you know, some of these stories are featured in. And I think this is quite evident, aka Patters. We're not in the comic book culture anymore of what's happening inside the books. We're in the comic book culture of FOMO. And FOMO equals overly priced reprints. 10-pound editions. All the omnibuy. Books that you can't handle, you have trouble tracking down, and that you only want at a discount because of the giant price tag. We should argue more about what's happening inside the pages, but there's just not enough there. Now we argue about the best reprint edition. It's broken. It's backwards. It's flipped. And I want to say, I feel like it's doomed. I don't know if there's a recovery from this because the trend needs to go in the other direction. It's a whole polarity shift. Does the American comic book industry have it in them to bring the importance back to monthly comic book readership? I don't think so. This was a novelty and should remain as such.